Good morning, beloveds. So, in my morning walk, because I live in a cul-de-sac surrounded by two loops, I walk about 3 streets, right? It was raining on two of them. One of them was mine. It was just interesting this morning. Okay. Ooh, and there is something on these glasses. I have two cats in here this morning. Um, and Foster's kind of Gabby didn't put up with many of the cats in here, but she likes Foster, so she'll put up with him. So Foster stopped, and he was like, "Oh, that's just Gabby." And so far, she hasn't complained about him practically sitting on her. But if you hear anything, that's what it is. All right. It is March 21st. Our title is Dealing with Negative Conditions. The first quote is, "Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good." And that is Romans 12:21. The second quote is, "The spirit within me does not long for anything. It is free, safe, and satisfied." And that's The Science of Mind, page 261. And the last quote is, which means this has got to be Craig Carter, "We must always remind ourselves that we are dealing with a law which is neutral. It produces the weeds along with the good plants." And that is Good for You, page 57. All right. And this is the last of the 3 things in this entire book that were highlighted. It's pink highlighter, by the way. Okay. The Science of Mind teaches that the law of mind, which acts upon our thoughts, beliefs, and feelings to bring forth our outer experience, is a neutral law. If we plant a seed in our garden, we will reap accordingly, for the law makes no selection for us. So if we accidentally plant a seed, the earth will nourish it along with flowers, vegetables, wheat, and whatever else we may prefer to have grown. But we can recognize the weed as something we don't want and take steps to eliminate it. The same principle holds true in regard to our life circumstances. Negative conditions of one sort or another may crop up, and in due course we recognize them as undesirable. The negative condition may be some situation in our outer experience, or it may be some negative trait in ourselves. In either case, once it is recognized as undesirable or unwanted, we can do something positive about the situation by changing what we think, believe, or feel. And we will be using the same law of mind to correct the error which made it possible for the error to occur in the first place. If we do not correct the error, it will quite naturally continue to flourish. The choice is ours. The law is neutral. I now turn my awareness to correcting an aspect of my personal behavior which I now consider to be undesirable. I do not condemn myself for having let this habit develop, as it came about in a natural enough way, but I now take charge and drop the habit. I am under no compulsion or coercion. I am a free agent and I am claiming my freedom. As I make this decision, I take any practical steps that can be helpful. I adapt new patterns of behavior and I accept any help that is rightly offered. With these affirmations, I have set a healing into motion and I gratefully accept this healing. Craig Carter. All right. So there's a lot in there. Starting with the fact that the law is absolutely neutral. What we plant is what we get. It does come back down to our choices. It is the choices that we make. And what he says in here is don't beat yourself up. It's like, okay, so because we're allowed to change our mind. It's like we start something and we think, oh, this is going to be good for us. Then we get further along in the situation. We go, you know what? This isn't working out the way I thought it would. I can change my mind and I don't have to beat myself up about it. And then he goes on to say, okay, so now that you've recognized this is not what you want, you change your mind. And then you take steps, practical steps because I've told you this before, you don't break a habit. What you do is replace a habit. So whatever it is that you were doing, now you want to replace it with something else that is more positive. And he also says, take any help that is rightly offered. You don't have to do it by yourself. That's what he's saying. You don't have to do it by yourself. So it's like he's lining all of these things out. First off, reminding you, one, the law is neutral. If you set this in motion, the law is going to bring it to you. The law is not going to look at that and go, I don't think you want this. The law is going to go, oh, this is what you want. All right. And so when you realize, okay, this isn't working out quite the way I expected it to, so let me change my mind, you are free to do that. And more importantly, you don't have to beat yourself up about it. Okay, so you made a choice. Now you get to make another one. And just go on. And then, so you make a new choice. You choose a new habit, behavior, whatever it is that you're working on. You choose new, and then you set new affirmations in. You set new guides in. You're making a different choice, and then so you take practical steps and accept rightly offered help. Not all the help that we're offered is helpful. So we get to make the decision, would this be helpful for me? And just because it worked for somebody else doesn't mean it'll work for you. So, don't take that on either. It's like, well, this worked for so-and-so. Okay, but doesn't work for me. So, so it's all in there, and it's all practical, and it's all, you don't break a habit, you replace a habit. Don't beat yourself up. Just move forward. Okay, so I'm going to go back because, like I said, it's highlighted. I'm going to go back to the highlighted and just hit those points. But we can recognize the weed as something we don't want and take steps to eliminate it. Okay, so just because we planted it doesn't mean we have to accept it. Okay, so we planted it and we go, whoop, that's not what I thought it was. You can change your mind. Okay, just because you've planted it doesn't mean you have to accept it. It is your responsibility to take care of it, but you don't have to accept it. Okay. Negative conditions are of one sort or another may crop up, and in due course we recognize them as undesirable. Okay. We can do something positive about the situation by changing what we think, believe, or feel. And we are using the same law to correct the error that we used to create it. That's the cool thing. The law isn't going to judge you if you change your mind. Now, if people in your life judge you for that, maybe you want to reevaluate why they're in your life. All right? And then he goes down here to the very end of his treatment. As I make this decision, I take any practical steps that can be helpful. I adopt a new pattern of behavior. I accept any help rightly offered. Any practical steps that can be helpful. I adopt a new pattern of behavior, and I accept any help rightly offered. All right? You don't have to do it by yourself. But you can. All right? You don't have to accept help. But if help is offered and it works for you, please feel free to accept it. With these affirmations, I have set a healing into motion, and I gratefully accept that healing. And that's the other important thing. It's like if you set a healing into motion, when you set out to weed your garden, then you've got to be willing to accept the healing. So, right there, it is practical, non-judgmental. This is an absolute wonderful reading. If you want to deal with, and I can see why it's highlighted. If you want to deal, because he reminds you, look, we're going to make mistakes. We're human. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're going to make mistakes. And more importantly, it doesn't even have to be a mistake. Maybe you just changed your mind. Maybe you got far enough along into the process and you went, you know what? This isn't really what I want. I've made that decision. I was 3 years into ministerial school and I went, you know what? I guess pastoral care is it, not youth ministry. You're allowed to change your mind. Absolutely allowed to change your mind. Okay? And there's no shame in that. And there are people who are going to step up and support you when you change your mind. Okay? So, the mission today, should we choose to accept it? And I'm going to go back to that little affirmation part down here. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, if we are dealing with a negative condition, is to make the decision, take practical steps, adopt new patterns, and accept any help that is rightfully offered. It's a lot. I know. But but it boils down to do what you gotta do to take care of you. That's the mission. That is the mission. When we create situations unintentionally, and it happens, it is our responsibility to clean them up. We are allowed to change our minds. Okay? Remember that. Just like I say that no is a complete sentence. Remember, you are allowed to change your mind. Just because you planted it doesn't mean you have to let it grow. Okay? You are allowed to weed your garden, and I thoroughly encourage you to weed your garden on a regular basis. Okay, I'm going to have a busy day, so I'm going to move on into the process of that. But first, I'm going to remind you the spiritual practice: do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. This is loving, kind, and compassionate. That reading today, when you face up to something that you're like, oh, I don't want this anymore. One of the most loving, kind, and compassionate things you can do is change your mind. All right? Change your mind. Make a different choice. Choose something new. It is absolutely loving, kind, and compassionate for you. Whatever you do that makes you a better person, that's loving, kind, and compassionate. You deserve love. You deserve kindness. You deserve compassion in your own life. You are a beloved child of God. That's the reason why I talk about it every single day. I want you to create the habit so that when negative things crop up in your life, you can look at them lovingly and say, I'm going to choose something new. All right. And I also, because self-care, straight up self-care. This is a spiritual practice of self-care. It is also a spiritual practice of joy. Make room for joy in your life. All right. I say eat dessert first. I do literally mean it, but it's a metaphor. Your life is a special occasion. Don't save the good stuff. All right. So weed your garden regularly. Practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. You are your own best test subject. And I want you to create that habit so that when these things crop up, your response to yourself and everyone around you is loving, kind, and compassionate. And honestly, when these kinds of things crop up in other people, as they do, if you can't have a loving, kind, and compassionate response, then sometimes the best response is no response. Shame and blame won't do anything. Love, kindness, and compassion will. All right? And if you can't be that, then the best that you can be is not there. So I'm just going to remind you of that. Just like, no is a complete sentence, you are allowed to love people from a distance. So, if whoever needed to hear that, I don't know. Okay. And I'll remind you some of the loving, kind, and compassionate things that you can do. Take a deep breath before you speak. Take a walk. Take a nap. Eat dessert first. Make a joyful noise. Go and hug somebody. Right? Right, Foster? You back for more love? Okay. All right. I'm also going to remind you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like. I encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important, and I can feel it in my vocal cords today. I'm going to encourage you to get early in your day bright light. Obviously, if it's raining out there, I'm not getting that from the sun, but artificial light helps. It's about resetting that hormone rhythm. It's called a circadian rhythm. It is a natural hormone rhythm. That early in your day, bright light resets those hormones. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. It's science. You can look it up. And then I say this, and I say it every day, and you can take it for what it means to you. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. The trick is to learn that it is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. That's why I say the breath of heaven. It's like we are made of God's stuff, by God, for God. We are made of spiritual stuff. It's like you are spiritual. You don't have to become spiritual. You already are. It's about practicing the presence and recognizing, hey, you know what? It's all God. It's all God. It's all good. It is the use that we make of it. Okay? As Shakespeare said, the act is not, it's thinking that makes it so. Okay? Um, the object is neither good nor bad. It's thinking that makes it so. Gotta love Shakespeare. Okay. So, and in this, as we are learning about the state of mind that creates heaven, the heavenly state of mind, I can remind you to take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. All right. Whew. Moving on. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. That we have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I have all of those as well. And then the Creative Life also has a TikTok. I don't know how active we are on TikTok, but we have one. So, all right. Oh, moving forward. Yes. Okay. Hang on. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. The hot links are hot. It'll take you right to the information you want or the person that can help you get it. And then there's a new feature on the website, which is creativelife.org. info@creativelife.org. Email creativelife.org website. The Sunday Talks now take you right to the YouTube channel. It's cool. So check that out. All right. I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an amazing day, a dealing with negative things day, a taking practical steps, adapting new behaviors, accepting rightly offered offers of help in right action, if they fit for you, day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a godling. When you know the truth of your own being, everything else is a little easier. All right? You come pre-installed with a Christ consciousness. Activate it. The password is love. All right. Oh, I need to go take quercetin because allergy season is full on me. Okay. So, take care of yourself. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m., although it looks like I'm hitting more 9:15. So, there we are. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.